Hello, everyone. Good evening to everyone. Good evening. Welcome to my pool space with me, your host, Kenton Augustine. And it's Thursday, and it's another day for my pool space. Welcome wherever you are tonight. I trust you had a good day. I trust you are well. I trust you are ready for tonight's show. Tonight's show, my friends, we are going to be discussing, we are going to be talking, we are going to be chatting about some issues and some, you know, common issues you may see with your pool. And you say, man, how do I solve these things, right? Scratch my head, how do I take care of these things? But tonight, we're going to go through, we're going to dialogue, and we're going to talk about common pool problems and how to treat them. Yes. So before I continue to talk about some of the issues you may face in your pool, it doesn't matter. It could be big, small, vinyl, concrete, fiberglass. There's some issues that you will face now and then. Why? Because we are open. That's my bell right there. And we are open right here in the tropics. And we're in beautiful space, right? And so we are outdoors and we have trees around, we have dust around. And so tonight, there are things that say, well, how did my pool get this way? Hmm. Anyway, tell a friend, tell someone we are on. Remember to like, subscribe our link. Tonight, we're going to go through a couple things. Tonight, we're going to go through common pool problems. We're going to do how can we treat them. And I'll share with you as well some products that we can use to actually treat our pool problems. So don't go away. Stay fast. Buckle your seatbelt. We're going to have a nice show tonight. We're going to have a small commercial break, and then we'll go right into tonight's topic. Stay tuned. Yeah, but even if you have a spa, you may have issues as well. And guess what? We have spa line products that can treat your spas as well. But tonight we're talking about pools, right? And some of the common things we will face. And by the way, as we go along, by all means, feel free to send me your questions, leave a comment in the chat, and if we can answer them, we will answer them, right? If we can, we will research and come back to you next Thursday, God's willing. So tonight, let's go into it. Some of the problems we will face, and by the way, I must say, being in the industry for many years now, most of our pool problems, most of them, I would say 95% of them, it all boils down to water chemistry. Mhm. It all comes down to water chemistry. Water chemistry can cost you daily, it can cost you equipment failure, it can cost you your plaster failure, it can cost you fixtures failure. So at the end of the day, it all comes down. That's what I've found, by the way, solution. As I go around, I listen to people, I go out to pools. Most times it comes down to a chemistry issue. And so therefore, that's right. That's why it's so important to get the chemistry right. All right. So let's go right into it. So let's look at one of the issues you may see sometimes. So On the screen, you can see a pool. The water is clear. The water looks clear and nice, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. However, it has what appears to be, it looks kind of green, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks green. It has a green tint to it. And so you say, oh, my pool has algae, right? So you go, you brush it, nothing happens. You shock it, nothing happens. So you may say, what's really going on here? The water is clear, it looks nice, but my pool for some reason looks green. So first up, it is not algae. Mm-mm. When we have a clear pool, no algae present, and you have this green tint to it, most times that points to is that you have metal or you have copper stains. Mhm. And so as a reaction to your pool surface, you will get this tint of green all over your pool surface. So you can brush it, nothing is going to happen. You can shock it, nothing is going to happen. What do you need to treat this? How can you treat your pool that looks clear, but the water seems green, a green tint? Well, this, my friend, is what we call a metal or copper stain. And so one way we can do it is we need a sequestering agent, something that's going to remove the metal from the water. So you might ask, but in the first place, how did metal get into my water? Well, metal can get into your water. Maybe you have copper pipes. Yeah, you have heaters. Maybe you're using a certain type of algaecide. And sometimes it could be your actual water source, you know? It could be maybe you have a metal tank or the water is coming off your roof. You have a metal roof, yeah? And you're using that water now to fill your pool up, and that too can create metals in the water. I've had cases whereby a client of mine came to us, and he said, my pool is green. So I say, any metals around? He said, no. However, higher up him, some people, they were doing metal works. Imagine that. They were doing metal works, grinding and stuff. And so where he is a very windy area. So those metals blew into his pool and caused his pool to have that green tint. So what we can do this is we can use a metal, something called metal gun. It's a questions and it removes metals from the pool, right? And so that is one problem you may have. Clear water, no sign of algae, but has a green tint. What's causing that? Metal stains. How can we treat that? You can come down to us. We give it some metal gun, and they put it in the pool, and it is going to remove the metals from the water, and your pool is going to be restored. So that's one problem that you may face ever so often. Again, it could be the metals can come from your heater, it can come from your metal roof, you have runoff, it can come from your water source. Maybe the water is being stored in metal tanks, it goes in there. I had one case. Where this person had, for some reason, I don't know why they did that. For some reason, the person used metal copper pipes to as their water feed. And I kid you not, when I got to the structure, to the body of water, everything in there was green. The water was clear, but it was green. Why? Metals. So we can remove metals from the pool by using a sequester that removes metals, and your water can be restored. And by the way, tonight we have a lot. And so this is something else. Now, cloudy water. This is probably one of the most common issues you may face. My water is cloudy. What's going on? Cloudy water. Most times, cloudy water comes from poor circulation. Yeah. And so and now this is not fun, but this is what I see sometimes. Sometimes you try to cut corner because you want to cut down on your bill. And so you run your pumps on a very short time. And so you may have poor circulation, or you may also have poor filtration, which can lead to you having cloudy pool water. So, yeah, just by simply not enough pump run time, you have poor circulation, your water isn't filtering enough, or you may have excessive um, people using the pool, and you're running that filter 4 hours a day. Yeah, you're going to have cloudy water. It can also be due because you're going to have also what we call it. You have also a poor chemistry as well, low chlorine as well, low chlorine in the pool as well. All these things can lead to you having cloudy pool water. So how can you do that? Again, it's down to the chemistry and down to you also increasing your circulation. And that's why I always say it makes sense in our neck of the woods to have a variable speed pump. So you can run that pump at a very low speed a very long time, and your water gets filtered and it means clean. So, you come to us, you have cloudy water. I'll ask you, how long is the pump running for? You tell me 4 hours a day. I'll say, okay, let's increase that. I'll ask you, well, last you clean your filters if you have cartridge. Well, last will it clean? When last will it change? Or I'll ask you, when last did it change the sanya filter? Mm. Or when last did you backwash your filter? So cloudy water, again, if your filter is not clean, folks, the water it can't filter and the water is going to get cloudy. If you run your pumps for too little, you have poor circulation and the pool is going to get cloudy. So one way to do that it is to first clean your filters. Clean your filters, increase your pump run time, and we have a product that's been there for ages. It's been there for all eternity, and it still works. And by the way, it works not just in an hour timer, but it works instantly. As you know, the other day I went to a pool. I'm like, this pool doesn't look all that bright. I kid you not, took a bucket, mixed some in there, threw it in, and guess what? The pool began to clear up. And anybody who ever come to the store or you go or you want some clear water, you always ask for a clarifier. Mercury Blue. It's a wonderful product. Um, and it instantly, my folks, it begins to work and clear the pool, right? So what it does, it creates amazingly pool clear water. It will boost your filter efficiency. Guess what? And it will not affect your pool chemistry. Now, by the way, this bottle here, right, which is about 32 ounces, this bottle here, 2 ounces of this stuff, I said 2 ounces, will treat 12,000 gallons of water. Yeah, so pause right there. Don't go and just chuck in a whole half bottle, a whole bottle. No, then you're gonna kill your filter. So read read the instructions carefully. 2 ounces does how many gallons? 12,000 gallons of water. Yeah, the stuff is that effective. And guess what? So therefore, it means that you gotta first of all know how many gallons of water you have in your pool. So you gotta know your pool size. As a homeowner, as a maintenance guy, you must know your pool size. Why? Because in chemistry, we don't just chuck things in. No, we take measurements and we add measurements accordingly. You know, Again, you may have poor chlorine, you may have poor chlorine, so the water is turning cloudy. Do I just chuck in a whole pound of chlorine? No, man. No, you can't just do that. So it's amazing. Sometimes all it takes is just maybe 2 ounces, 3 ounces of chlorine of the powder. That's all it needs. So don't overkill, don't overspend, don't overuse, don't blow your budget. Measure the pool and add accordingly. And this stuff works, it works, it works, and I know it works. And it's a very good product to clear your pool. Yeah. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and we will seek to answer your questions tonight. If you're on, thank you for being on. Thank you for joining us wherever you are in St. Lucia or part of the world. Let's get to some serious stuff now, man. This is my friends. This is yellow algae. Yellow algae. And let me just turn to my notes because yellow algae. I mean, this thing. It trust me, it doesn't play, and you can't treat it lightly. You can't go with it with kids' glove. Yellow algae is one of those things. How do I know I have yellow algae? If you look at the picture, right, you will see first of all a yellow tint. Yeah, you will see a yellow tint, and then you will see some blotches. You will see some marks in the pool. Yeah, so you may see something that look like dirt or dust, and if you touch it, it just spreads out. Spreads out. That's a sign of yellow algae. Again, yellow algae, what's another sign? It's a yellow or mustard algae. Yeah. And it comes back fast. You know, you brush, 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 brush. You shock, shock, shock. Yeah, man, you vacuum the pool. Things look nice and clear. And then when they come again, it back there, it's back there again. Yellow algae. So when you see something like that, you brush, you shock, you backwash, you come back and it's there again, it's there again. That's a telltale sign you have yellow or mustard algae. So how do we treat this? Because it is a very, very stubborn. Yeah. So it looks like, then again, how do you spot it? Yellow or brownish dust. And it repairs fast after you brush. And if you just touch it, it just spreads out. Yellow algae. Now, and so you can throw chlorine in there. Hey, go say, thank you very much. Nah, you need something to fight that. Yeah? So how do you fight yellow algae? Because it's a very stubborn thing, and by the way, yeah. By the way, so how do you treat that? Well, there's something called yellow out or mustard out, which you have to use in conjunction with hypo or chlorine powder. Most times a pound of powder. So you throw them in, and also any toys you may have, floats you may have, brush you may have, anything that may have got contaminated with the yellow algae, you will definitely want to throw it in there. And you treat it with the yellow out, something like this. Yellow treat. Yellow treat. Don't, by the way, don't go using any other thing. Use yellow algae for yellow algae. Simple as that, because it doesn't react to anything else. It needs the yellow algae. So you throw it in there, you throw in the chlorine, and you brush, of course. You brush, you brush, you brush, and then you brush your entire pool. You clean the equipment, your toys, and you want to maintain a higher chlorine level for a few days. So for a few days, just keep your chlorine level at a higher level than normally. So if you have 2 ppms, which is 1.5 to you're going to go to 3 or even 4 maybe, because that thing is stubborn. So you use yellow out, and then you need to get hypo or chlorine powder to activate the ingredients in the yellow out so that it can destroy the yellow algae. And by the way, for me, what I like to do when I going to vacuum the pool now, I'm not going to vacuum that thing back into, no, I want to vacuum the waste. So all that dust that residue, I'm gonna vacuum to waste so it doesn't come back into my filter. And that's one way you can treat yellow. But if you just use regular chlorine, it's not gonna help. You must use yellow out or yellow treat algaecide. Yeah, so you need that and chlorine. You must have the two of them. If not, it's just not going to work for you and you're going to spend money uselessly. I'm afraid it. That's the only way you can treat yellow out. How it looks again, you may see a yellow tint, yeah, yellow blotches, and you will see dust-like patches. If you touch them, it spreads out. That's a sign of yellow algae. So we have gone through how to treat yellow algae. By the way, if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know. As well, maybe you want to share with me your experience. Put it in the chat, and we'll go through it as we go along. Next, we have calcium stains. So here we have a pool, and in the pool, we have what appears to be black marks, or you may see it in your pool. You may see circles, patches of circles in your pool. It's not dirt. It's not dirt. You brush it, nothing happens. And most times, how do we treat this? Well, first of all, what's really happening here? Again, your water always try to get itself balanced. And so your pool water will look for calcium wherever it is. And guess where calcium is in abundance in your pool? It's in your diamond bright. Yeah. Yeah. It's in your diamond bright. And because it's there, and let's say you're carrying your calcium under 400, maybe 100, which is too low. You know what? Your pool says, I need to get balance. And how can I balance myself? How can I get calcium? I'm going to pull the calcium from the plaster. I'm going to pull the calcium from the diamond bright. I'm going to pull the calcium from my grout and thin set. Yeah. So sometimes your tiles begin to fall off in the pool. Why? Because you have a calcium deficiency. And so the water will just pull that stuff out. You know, a tiles begin to fall out, and then you will see those patches in the pool. And so you want to take care of you want to, again, check the chemistry. The on dirt, that's a chemistry issue. So you need to ensure that your calcium is balanced to prevent calcium stains in your pool water. So I'm sure some of you may go to your pool and you are seeing round patches in your pool. And you say, boy, how come I have them stains there, boy? Where they come from? First thing I would say, go and check your calcium levels in the pool. Yeah? So let's say you correct your calcium. And how do I treat that? Well, there's something called a multi-stain remover, which you can use to help treat calcium stains that may be in your pool. Yeah? But first of all, the first thing for you to do is to check your calcium levels and adjust them accordingly. I use something like this. Or you can even use acid, you know. You can even spot check with acid to try and take out that first layer of diamond bright and have to re-expose and blue again. So look out for calcium. Calcium can ruin your pool bottom line. And before I continue, we are going to go to another commercial break. Then we'll be right back. Yeah, yeah. That's our mini pools right there. That's our mini pools, man. So call us for mini pools. We have mini pools for you too. So tonight we are looking at common pool issues and how do we treat them. By the way, time is going quickly, so figure put your questions. We have questions, and let's go to one of the most common issues that we see all around the place: the green pool, the green soup, green pea soup pool, right? And this is what probably most of us may counter, and that's when we freak out because, oh my God, the guest is coming. They're already at the airport. They're coming up. My pool got disappear. I know, I know how it can get sometimes. Your heart begins to beat fast. Or I'm having a pool party for my children's birthday, and my pool is green. What's going on? You tell me, folks. What's happening to your pool? Why is my pool green? Why is my pool green? One of the most big issues we find is green pools, and that's one thing we all hate, green pool. So green algae is the most common algae. It is caused by low chlorine and poor circulation. Yeah, you know, I always tell people when you look at the human body, the heart is like your pool pump. It's pumping, pumping, pumping. Yeah, it's pumping. If it stop pumping, guess what? You're dead, right? And dead water is not good for you. And that's why you must get a variable speed pump that can go on and on and on at a low speed, and your pool never turns green. So your pool pump is like your heart, and your kidneys is like your filter. So if your filter is dirty, it ain't working, your pump ain't working, guess what? And you ain't putting chlorine in there, or you're checking your salt machine, your salt machine ain't working, your pool is going to turn green, folks. So the most common issue we may have, you may see, is a green pool, right? Yeah, I would don't like green pools. So how do you treat a green pool? Well, again, you want to check your chemistry, you know. You shock with chlorine for sure. You brush your walls and floor, and you run that filter continuously, and you backwash and clean your filter. And by the way, it is always for me. It's a best practice. You shock your pool, yeah. You shock it with chlorine, right? You brush the walls. All at work, you brush your walls, brush, brush, brush. You brush your walls. You shock your pool. You run a filter continuously, and then you backwash. So, folks, when it comes to vacuum, please, I'm begging you, don't just vacuum on filtration. Why? Because that stuff is going to come back into the pool. Backwash, vacuum to waste. Yeah. Trust. So, by the way, what that means, it means that whilst you're vacuuming, your filter goes on waste, if you're a sand filter, and so the water just runs out. It doesn't come back into your pool, yeah? So a green pool, I know, right? It's a yucky pool. A green pool is a yucky pool, right? And so we all hate a green pool. But guess what? It's probably one of the most easy things to treat as well. So it's going to require you, again, chemistry. Why aren't you maintaining your chlorine levels? Oh, okay. So let me give a classic. So you go say, well, you go say, man, Kenton, man, I hear you, but guess what? I check my chlorine. Well, I check my chlorine. I adding chlorine to the pool, but my pool is green. What going on? Well, it could just be as well that, and one of the most common things out there, it could just be as well that you like to use a lot of chlorine tabs, tabs all year. And so you are not actually increasing your CYA, cyanuric acid level. And it gets too high, guess what? Your pool locks off. So you can occur from now until next year. Nothing will happen. Chemistry again. So what's your CYA level? Is it balanced? Is it too high? If it's too high, address that as well. So a green pool is easy to treat. Most times, yeah. But it requires you, first of all, don't make it green. Maintain your chlorine, maintain your salt levels, stabilize the levels, pH levels, yeah, in the pool, and your brush, you shock your brush. And by the way, you can also prevent it by guess what? By adding a pool algaecide. And so we have a 3-month process. It's called it's called a 90-day algaecide. You throw it in, and it keeps you covered for 90 days. But of course, you still gotta check your chlorine. Make sure it's 1.52. Don't make it go to 0 or 0.5. No. So you can use as well an algaecide to help you treat your pool algae problem. And this one that we sell, it covers you for 90 days. Yeah. One bottle, you know, one dose according to your pool size. Again, measure your pool size. You're covered for how long? 90 days. And by the way, our time is going. I think we can look at one more problem and then we got to, boy. Okay, so we look at one more issue. And probably black algae. Now, I took a deep breath, right? Because black algae, my friends, it is the most stubborn algae. It's not a battle, it's a war. Black algae is a war. Because this thing, it has some deep root. This thing goes deep into your into your plaster, into your face. It goes deep. You know, this thing, this algae here, man, it goes deep into your pool surface and it is stubborn. You can you brush, and nothing, and that thing just ain't moving. It as though it has some force, some shield over it. It has some Captain America shield. You brush that thing, and nothing happens, man. That and guess what? Black algae is a war. It's a war you'll be fighting until thy kingdom come. It's a war you'll fight until maybe you empty the pool, you burn it out, you do a new plaster again. Because black algae, once it's there, it's pretty much there for life. But don't be despondent. We can treat black algae. We can. And so you want, and so by the way, by the way, you want to have a metal brush. Yeah. You want to use a black algae destroyer because regular Cal Hypo ain't gonna work. So I'm telling you now, if you have black algae, don't use regular chlorine powder. It will not work. Do you hear what I say? It ain't gonna work. Yeah, it ain't gonna work. And by the way, if you have black algae and you don't have chems to treat black algae, leave it alone. You know what I say? If you go to your pool, if you go to your pool and you see in your pool black algae, yeah, you will see black spores in your pool, and you don't have chemicals to treat it, I'm begging you, do not attempt to brush it. Even though you are tempted to, leave it alone. Because if you have no chemicals to treat it and you go and brush it, guess what? You are just spreading that thing all over the pool. You know, you bring up some spores and it spreads. And when it spreads, it can really spread. So, this is something I've learned in the field. Learn the field. If you have black algae, my people, and you don't have chems to treat it, leave the thing alone. I'm telling you. All right, leave it alone. So, how do you treat black algae? Well, you can treat black algae by using what we call a black algae destroyer. And why something? Let me just pause here. Stop using this product as your regular chlorine. Stop it, folks. Stop. That's an issue as well. Because some people, that's all they use. And they increase their CYA and they get more problems. So this is only to treat black algae. Don't use this as a regular pool maintenance chemical. You're making a big mistake. It's going to increase your CYA and you are going to have problems in your pool. Yeah? Okay. So black algae, you wanna use black algae destroyer and you wanna throw it in there. You know, how do I normally use this? I normally use this by I turn the pump off and I spot treat. So wherever I see the black algae clump together, I turn the pump off, I spread it and let it fall on the black algae, and I leave the pump off for 24 hours. I come back and I brush again. Let it sit on the black algae. Let it burn it out. Yeah? Let it burn it out. So, tonight I'll pause right here because I think we got to come back to that in our next show because our time has run out. So, folks, I want to thank you for being on. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being there. And don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any episodes of My Pool Space with me, Kenton, your host. And so, of course, you can subscribe. Yeah, so those again, that's one of our beautiful mini pools. So, folks, if you want to learn more and you want to contact us, you can scan our QR code, you can call our number, come down to Broad Orange, come down to the store, check us out. By the way, we got them things in stock so you can get them products at Royalty Pools to keep your pool looking going great, looking nice, looking clean, and looking top for your guests and for your family. Thank you tonight for being on. Remember to sign up, subscribe, click that link, join our podcast every Thursday at 8 p.m. with me, your host, Kenton Augustine. Until then, I say peace and out.